I've talked about many things on this show. I made an episode talking about sleep. Obviously, throughout the show, I've talked about the importance of exercise. I've talked about the importance of all sorts of different things. I've talked about the importance of faith, believe in God. That's been the main theme on the show. I've talked about so many things, but I have been yet to make an episode specifically about the importance of diet, how to have a healthy diet, how to eat right. Because I truly believe that if you sleep well, you exercise every day, and you eat right, that's really the formula that you can have just for a much more better life, and you will just have more energy throughout your day. And it really isn't that complicated. It just has to be those three things that physically you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your mind, you have to take care of your body, you have to take care of your spirit. If you take care of your body with these three things, like that's really all you need to have a strong body and get ready to go. Obviously, you need the other things as well, but like the taking care of the mind, take care of the spirit, of course. But I haven't actually done anything on diet. Like I've talked about sleep. You can watch that one. That was one I made a while ago, but I like really broke down the importance of sleep and the methods you can use to have a good sleep. And obviously throughout this whole show, me being an athlete myself and me being very into the gym, like it's I've been talking so much about like the importance of physical exercise. But let me have my moment and let me have some time to explain diet, explain the importance of diet, and break it down. Again, it's not gonna be so complicated. It's not gonna be like super nerdy, but sometimes it can get a little bit nerdy. But basically, if you were like a 10-year-old and you wanted to eat properly, this is what I would tell you basically. So first of all, you have to scrap the food pyramid. You have to anything the government tells you that you should be eating, you should probably like not really be following that because I think that that's just not it just, like the government doesn't have your best interest in heart in any way, and that's the way I think about things in my life. So three nutrients you need to know, right? Carbohydrates, fats, and protein. And three negative things you need to know: sugars, saturated fats, and sodium. So those are maybe the fundamentals. Those are the beginning stages of what it means to have a good diet. So basically what it starts with is first of all you need to know your allergies, right? You need to know what you're allergic to. If you're allergic to certain things like nuts, obviously nuts are actually a very healthy food, very good for you. But if you can't eat them, then don't eat them, right? You need to know what you're allergic to, and you need to know like perhaps like the specifics of what you're allergic to so you know what you can risk eating and what you shouldn't be risking eating. I'm very fortunate enough that I don't have any allergies, so I can just eat whatever. So I can have the full extent of the nutritious value of good food, right? So it starts with natural foods. The more natural foods, single ingredient foods that you can eat throughout your day, the better. The second that you're eating processed stuff that you have added sugars and things that you're adding to it, the more ingredients you add to something, the less good it is for your body. I think that's the maybe first principle. So, fruits, vegetables, of course, right? Those are the most important. In my opinion, you should have a fruit with every meal. Like that's what I do. I have a fruit with every meal and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or if you don't eat breakfast, that's okay. You don't have to eat breakfast. Like contrary to popular belief, you absolutely don't have to eat breakfast. That's absolutely fine. But you have fruits. You have fruits with your meal. And I honestly don't eat that many vegetables, but vegetables, of course, are very good. Like the more veggies you can get into your diet, the better. But me personally, I only have vegetables like a couple times a week, really. And I went through periods of my life where I like didn't have a vegetable for like months, and I was okay. Like I was still healthy, I was still feeling good. But vegetables are absolutely super good for you. They're filled with all sorts of good nutrients and vitamins that you can't really get anywhere else. So the more vegetables you can eat, the better. Like carrots are good. Spinach, of course, is amazing for you. Fiber, having a good fiber in your diet is also a very good thing because fiber it helps with digestion, and the better you can digest your food, it's just good because if you have a bad digestive system, it just makes you heavy. It just makes you feel that sluggishness, right? Like when you eat some food and you just like feel lazy, right? Sometimes it's in the food that you eat, but also sometimes it can be because of your internal systems. So the more fiber you can eat, and you find a lot of fiber in vegetables and in bananas, there's a lot of fiber. Fruits and vegetables, most important thing for sure, absolutely. Make sure you wash them because sometimes they're put preservatives and fertilizers in them. So make sure you wash all your fruits and vegetables before you eat them. But you should definitely have a focus on them, and with every meal you should have them. Like really like, I mean, you can have too much of anything, but really, like, if you have like 5 servings of fruit, 7 servings of fruit, like that's fine. Like in a day, like obviously fruit kind of gets expensive, so you do want to kind of think about that as well. Different types of fruit are important. You maybe don't want to be eating the same stuff all the time. So have like a mixture, apples, bananas, oranges, berries, other types of things. And I think that'll be very good for you. And of course, vegetables as well. But other whole foods include eggs. Eggs are probably the best thing you could eat in the morning for breakfast. They have all sorts of healthy things, and eggs maybe get a bad rep because there's this thing called cholesterol, and people say, "Oh, eggs have cholesterol," but there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. And same thing, there's good fats and there's bad fats, which we'll get into, right? Nuts. Nuts are another natural food, whole food. They have a lot of fat in them and a lot of calories, but it's good fat. It's healthy fat. It's it's unsaturated fats. And those are the good fats. The saturated fats and the trans fats, those are the ones that are processed stuff. And that's the stuff that your body has trouble processing that really can mess you up if you eat too much of it. But eggs are very good. They're probably the best thing that you can eat in the morning, or you can have like avocado toast. Like that's also like super good, or just a banana and yogurt. That's good stuff to eat in the morning, right? Because yeah, like cereals and stuff. And I honestly eat too much cereal. I'm gonna be honest. I need to maybe stop eating cereal because yes, cereal is a part of all of that processed stuff that really that really is not good, right? Milk is another whole food that's unprocessed. Sometimes it is processed, but you want like a good 2% milk. I think is good. Like you don't want to have too much fat, but I think too little, like a skim milk, there's really nothing to it. It's basically just water. So it's like to have actually the nutrients. I think a 2% fat milk is where it's good to go. But you can get there are different people that'll give you different advice on that for sure. But but yes, milk I think is very good. Nuts, what else? I think like pastas and rice, like they and whole grains. Those are very unprocessed natural foods that you can have in your life that you can eat that will give you a lot of nutrients as well. So start by making your diet be filled with a lot of these natural foods, a lot of these whole foods. Because the more artificial stuff you eat, that's where a lot of that negative stuff is. So sugars, like we'll talk about the negatives, right? The sugar, the the unhealthy fats, the saturated fats, and the sodium. Food, like if you have a processed food, like a granola bars I think are okay, but like a cookie, for example, the amount of crap that they stuff into a cookie, into an Oreo, for example, it is so bad for you. A chip, pizza, whatever. Like Oreos will have way too much sugar, right? And and chips will have way too much fat. Pizza will have way too much sodium, and chips will have way too much sodium also. There's a level of sugar that you need in your body, and a level of sodium and a level of fat that you need in your body throughout the day. But we're talking the natural stuff, right? Natural sugars in fruits, they're good for you. Natural sodium in salt and in certain other things, and in bread and in whole wheats, they're good for you. Natural fats that you find in pasta, that you find in nuts, they're good for you. But once you start adding stuff and adding stuff, like it's basically like you can look at an Oreo, you can look at the super unhealthy stuff that you eat, you can look at a Big Mac, right? You think about a Big Mac, it's just bread, meat, and sometimes you have lettuce and tomatoes. And if you don't put like, I mean, if you put like the condiments on it, like ketchup is just tomatoes with a little bit of sugar, mustard is just like other types of seed, it's a mustard seed with a little bit of sugar, it's just extracted from it. It's just like you look at the fundamentals of it, it looks like it's not that bad. But because of how it's processed, it is terrible for you. Because it's not necessarily in the fundamentals, it's the fact that the meat is processed and cut and added stuff to it. The bread has stuff added to it. Like they actually add sugar to bread to give it that little, like that tiny little sweet taste, because that makes it taste better. The more they add to it, the more they can like abuse your taste buds to make it taste good. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that artificial stuff, because sugars, unsaturated, sorry, not unsaturated are good, saturated are bad. Sugars, saturated fat, and sodium. When there is too much of that, it usually leads to a lot of unhealthy stuff. So you want to avoid a lot of that processed stuff. Like, I think some of it is not terrible. Like, if you have a granola bar, you have like a Cliff Bar, for example. Those are great protein bars as like a extra source of protein. I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything too wrong with that. But it's like, if all you eat is just that unnatural processed garbage, of course you're going to gain weight. Of course you're going to feel less energy in your life and in your days. And of course your digestive system is going to be messed up. Of course when you go to take a poo, it's going to be like some hard poo, and it's going to be just terrible for you when you're sitting on the toilet. Of course, because you're just eating garbage. So you have to start with whole foods. And I think if there's one thing that you want to think of when you're having a healthy diet, it is whole foods. It is natural foods. The more of those you can put into your diet, the better your body will be, the more nutrients you can put into your body, and just, I think, just the better it will be in general. So the more processed stuff you eat, the more stuff that is filled with sugars and sodium and fats and cholesterol and all of this negative stuff, the worse it's going to be for your body. But the more things you can eat that are filled with the healthy stuff, the healthy fats, the healthy cholesterol, the natural sugar, the natural sodium, the better it will be for you. And in terms of the macros, right, if you're actually trying to gain weight, carbohydrates, fats, and protein. You need all three. Even if there's some like woke nonsense that say you shouldn't be eating protein or you shouldn't be eating carbs, you need all three. You absolutely do. The best course of action is if you're going to be doing exercise. And yes, diet alone doesn't work. I think diet is actually the most important, but diet alone doesn't work. If you actually want to be fit and you want to be healthy, you need to exercise every day. Before you exercise, you want to be eating carbs and maybe some fats, but mostly carbs. So that's why, like, maybe like rice, chicken and rice, like that's super good. That's a super good like pre-workout meal, for example. But post-workout, you want to be prioritizing protein, right? So you can have a protein shake, you can have like protein drinks, like protein bars. I don't think there's anything, even if there is a lot of processed nature in that stuff, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to be eating those things, because you're still getting the protein in your body. And of course, meat, right? Meat is the most important, right? You need meat in your diet. You need chicken in your diet. Like, fish is good too, and alternatives are good too, but meat is probably the most important source of protein that you can be eating before or after a workout. But like, maybe you increase the size, the portion size of the protein after the workout. So you want to be prioritizing protein after the workout. Before the workout, you want to prioritize more carbohydrates and fats, because carbohydrates are your energy stores and fats are your long-term energy stores. So fats probably take longer to digest, and carbohydrates are quicker. But carbohydrates you can use quicker as well. So a great time to eat like a big bowl of pasta. Like, for example, I'll give, like, because I'm a football player, right? So soccer, if you're American. But the best time to eat like a big bowl of pasta is not like right before a game. It is the night before you play a game, because it gives the fats time to digest, and the fats will be stored in your body, and that will be extra energy you can use when you're actually on the field going through very rigorous exercise. So let's say, like, even if you're not in a competitive sport, but you work out in the morning, in the evening time, because you're going to work out in the morning the next day, the evening time the night before is the best time to eat pasta. And that's the best time to like really fuel up that fat store. And protein is the best to eat after the fact. And carbohydrates, you can eat them like right before, like the meal right before your big exercise, the meal right before your game. It's the best to have like rice and chicken, or even potatoes and stuff. Those are good. Those are good for you. Potatoes, that's another great food. It's an amazing food for your diet. It really, really is. Because the thing with potatoes is they have a high satiation. And that's another concept that I'm going to get into. And I'm very, very brief. Like, again, this video is just the basics. It's not like the specifics of it, but it's the basic advice that, like, if you were 10 years old, right? Like, yes, whole foods, things that only have one ingredient to them rather than processed stuff. And it's very simple to distinguish one from the other, right? Potatoes are great because you get full quickly when you eat potatoes. And a lot of the problem with people's weights and a lot of the problem with people's diets is that in all of these processed foods, they have very low satiation. So you can eat a lot of it and you're eating way more calories and you're getting way more fat and sodium and unhealthy stuff into your body before you actually feel full. Potatoes are a great food because they help you feel full. So you don't have to eat as much food, as many calories to feel full. And I think that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Like, there's some people that do like the extreme. They have like the potato only diet. and then they kind of hollow themselves out because like they don't eat any calories. So you need to have variety in your diet. You need to have all of those nutrients in your diet, but potatoes are a great tool and a great way to do it. Great way to not eat as much food is by eating more potatoes. And not the processed stuff. Again, French fries, they're deep fried, they put so much extra salt on them. Again, it's processed, right? You go to fast food, processed, right? Just when you think about processed foods, like if it comes in a box and there's like, colors and stuff, right? So if it's a cereal, or if it's granola bars, or if it's anything, right? That's processed, right? Pizza and stuff where you're combining all sorts of things, processed. Natural foods. Focus on that. Like that should be your one focus. And I think if you're lactose intolerant and you can't have a lot of dairy, then I think you should like have like almond milk and stuff, because I think milk's very good for you. It has calcium and all sorts of great nutrients for your body. But I think that's another thing that in like the food pyramids and in like food structures, they're trying to take out the dairy for whatever reason, because dairy, like cheese and other types of dairy are like they're part of the processed foods, of course. Yogurt, depending on the type of yogurt can be very processed too as well. Like yogurt can be natural, but it can also be very processed if there's all sorts of flavors and stuff being added to it. And then it's not actually as healthy for you. There's too much sugar in it than really you should need. But I think yogurt's great for you. I think milk is great for you, and I think you should definitely have a little bit of dairy in your day as well. You should definitely have it, right? But yes, kind of if I wanted to put it all into a bow, and there's all of these nutrients and all of these things that you need to be focusing on, and you can get into the specifics of it. The most important, probably three things, is whole foods, single ingredient foods, so eggs, fruits, vegetables, things that I kind of talked about. Number two is having a balance between carbs, fats, proteins, and limiting as much as possible artificial sugars, sodiums, and saturated or trans fats, limiting those. From an ingredients perspective, those are the things you should be looking at more so than like the calories. And number three, a balance of all the different types of food. So you have fruits and veggies, dairy, whole grains, and proteins and meats and other sorts of protein. Like those are the four kind of like sectors and categories of food. You should have a balance of all four, and of course the most should be in the fruits and veggies section, of course. But you need to probably have a lot of meat as well. I think meat should be up there. Carbs and pastas and grains are great, and maybe like dairy should be the fourth, but that's just a personal opinion. But you should definitely still have a lot of dairy. You need to have a balance of all four. So that like if I had to put diet into like the three most important things, it would be that. And also the amount of food that you eat matters as well. So satiation, right? The amount of food that you eat makes a difference as well. Of course it does, right? Because that means there's more calories in your body. And that means that there's like if you're not exercising as much, it means that your body's just going to keep it. It's going to sit on it and it becomes fat. That's how it works, right? So you need to burn more than you eat at the end of the day, right? It's a caloric deficit. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to burn more calories than you are consuming. So you don't like the amount that you eat matters, basically. And that's also very important. If you're super skinny and you want to gain muscle, well, it's the opposite. It's at times it's harder because you have to force feed yourself at times. You're going to have to eat a lot more, especially if you want a clean bulk. You shouldn't dirty bulk because again, as I talked about, all of the negative things, you're going to get a lot of fat with the muscle, even if you are exercising with it. If you do a clean bulk, that's great. But you're going to probably have to force feed yourself a bit, but you're going to have to eat more than you burn. And if you're losing weight, you have to eat less, which is a different type of hard, because you need to eat less than you burn. And a great tool for it is potatoes and other types of food that have high satiation so that you don't have to eat as much. You'll feel full quicker. So you add those things to your diet and you focus on the quantity of the food that you eat. Quantity and quality are both super, super important when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your food. And I would go as far to say as the diet is the most important part of keeping your body healthy. It's what you actually put into your body. It's what food you actually fuel your body with. All three are important: the food, the exercise, and the sleep. But I would say that you can exercise a lot but not eat properly, and you're not going to see many gains. I think that is the truth. But you can eat properly and not exercise as much and see a lot more progress. Because I think the diet is the most important part of your body, right? Of your exercise routine, of you trying to achieve the goals and body composition goals that you're trying to achieve. Whether you're trying to lose weight or trying to gain weight or trying to gain muscle or you're just trying to feel better about yourself, your diet is the most important thing. So those are the things that I would recommend when it comes to your diet. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a guy that's like professional in this, but I am a personal trainer. I am officially licensed as a personal trainer, and I have lived my life in athletics in this type of a thing, and I've been going through and I've been trying different philosophies. I've been trying different ideas when it comes to the food you eat, and these are the conclusions that I have come to. So take it how you will. I think that this is good advice, and I think that you should, I think that if you do at least a couple of these things, you will see good differences in your energy levels and in how you live your life based and how you feel in your day, and of course your body composition, how you actually lose or gain that weight. So that's all I gotta say for today. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Just remember that I wanted to make an episode about diet because I hadn't done it yet. So as we're here and we're approaching 300 episodes of the show, we're getting near the end of 365 podcast. 365 podcast is every day for a whole year I make a podcast. I did want to make an episode talking specifically about the diet. I think I covered most of the things that maybe are the most important when it comes to diet. There's a lot of nuance to it. If you're really into it, you want to really get into the nerdy stuff, you absolutely can. Go and do it. Go and do some research and go and create a diet and create a meal plan for yourself that can allow you to achieve those fitness goals you want to achieve, to truly live a greater life, to improve the quality of life through diet, through good sleep, and through daily exercise. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. That's really all I got to say for today. That is my point. That is my spiel. That is my speech on diet. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify. If you enjoyed this episode, show your support on this show in any way that you can. This is kind of the guidelines to help your body be in a better place. But there is also the helping the mind, the helping the spirit, faith, belief in God. All that stuff is also important for your life. But this is specifically for your body, how you can help your body to feel better. And your body is your temple. How you can help your body to be up to the standard so that you can perform when you need it. When you need to and when you need your body to be there for you. But that is up to your own personal decisions to be disciplined with your diet, which is what I talked about today, but also your sleep and your daily physical exercise. That's all I got to say for today. Thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. I am wrapping it up now. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And I really hope that you make a good diet plan for yourself to actually go and achieve those goals and those things and take care of your body in a better way in your life. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode.